There are only two situations in which you can recover from lanes like this. You pick a hyper-aggressive early game jungler who by sheer force gives at least one of the lanes the lead. This is what I don't like. The word aggressive. I hate this word. I hate this word. I feel like the word aggressive is so overused in esports, in League of Legends, way too much. Over-aggressive. Like an over-aggressive jungler. What isn't, like, the reason it pisses me off, I'll show you, right? I'll show you why it pisses me off. So they have Kalista lane, which gets the push. They have Aatrox lane, which gets the push after 5. And they have LeBlanc into Lissandra, which is a bit 50-50 depending on jungle. There are only two situations you can. You pick a hyper-aggressive jungler in the early game who by sheer force gives at least one of the lanes a lead. Or the skill gap is so really large, so you're going to take the lead regardless. So, whether it's this context or not, a lot of people use the word hyper-aggressive. Or like, this guy is a really aggressive jungler, right? I hate the word aggressive. I think aggressive can be applied to lane phases. I feel like aggressive can be applied to lane phases a lot easier, right? If you're like over-trading, I think aggression is actually sometimes a bad thing, obviously. And if you're like, if you're pushing too hard or whatever, you get punished, you can be over-aggressive, right? Over-aggressive junglers don't really exist anymore. I feel like that's just jungle, right? The way jungle has shifted over the years, aggressive is not really a term for jungle anymore. You're just jungle. It's just, that's how you play the role. Like, if you pick Jarvan and you do red into bot gank, into its blue, is that aggressive? Well, yeah, but it's also what Jarvan needs to do, right? So, when you say pick a hyper-aggressive jungler in the early game, it's not like, after like the first clear, being aggressive is really hard to do because jungle is just so dependent on lane states, right? I could pick what's a really good example I could use. Let's say I have let's take the Jarvan thing, right? So I did red bot gank into blue, right? And they have mid push, for example, right? They have early good like a Tristana mid or something, I don't know. Then hyper aggressive jungler, it doesn't matter what my champ is, right? It doesn't matter if I'm playing Jarvan, Xin Zhao, it doesn't matter if I'm playing Diana, it doesn't matter whatever I'm doing. I can't do this play because I don't have push. I'm a jungler, right? If my lanes have push, I will go for these plays. Does that make sense, right? If I have push in top and mid, I will go invade his red. It doesn't mean I'm aggressive. It just means I have lane push. So, of course I'm going to invade his red, right? If I don't have lane push, I won't invade his red. And then a lot of people will be like, wow, this jungler is so aggressive in the early game. And yeah, I can see why you say he's aggressive. But if he has 2 lanes push in 2 of those games that you pull up the example that he's an aggressive jungler in, and he's invading their red buff respawn or their second raptor respawn, then the reason he's being aggressive is because he has to, because he has lane push, right? He needs to do this, you know? Does that make sense? And aggressive jungler is basically, the definition of aggressive jungler is an early game jungler, right? Nowadays, saying you can use aggressive jungler in terms of a pick or of a player, right? So let's take the Jarvan example. What's another early game jungler? Like Sin is kind of like this old school Camille. Like when you're level 2, you would go for that shit, right? The champs are aggressive, so you have to play aggressive, right? And then the playstyle is aggressive because you have lane push, so you have to play aggressive, right? I feel like aggression is a product of what is given to you in the game state or the draft, not of wit. If I have lane push and I have this situation and I don't take it, then I'm a bad jungler. If I have Jarvan Camille and I'm not early ganking and I'm full clearing, then I'm a bad jungler.
Minions have spawned.
Aggression is like a byproduct of what you're given. It's not something that you can choose to be. Obviously, you can be, the only other thing you can choose to be is overly aggressive, where I don't have this lane push, right? I'm red side, and then I'm the one invading his raptors. Then I'm just a degenerate. Why the fuck am I invading his grump if I have no lane push, right? Both my lanes are in. This is just int. This is not aggression. This is just fucking clown gameplay, right? So aggression is just a product of what's given to you. It's not... You can't be aggressive as a jungler, in my opinion. The only iteration I can think of, like, aggression jungler is if, for example, you're playing Jarvan, maybe, and you have, like, really, really volatile lanes. One way of playing aggressive is, like, invading his second buff, but playing for making their lanes move so they give up a wave or something, and then you back off and you sack yourself to make it so your lanes can get pushed in losing matchups. That's probably the only aggressive play I can think of that's actually like could be qualified as aggressive, but I haven't seen players do that for a long time because it's just not worth it anymore. So yeah, that's my meme, my rant on how aggression is used a bit too much.